Welcome to Sister Chat, where we come together to connect, honor, advocate, and teach each other. I'm Sister Carol Gregory, and I'm glad that you are here with us, Nicolette.
Thank you.
We're talking about something that's really close to my heart, the difference mentorship can make, especially when it comes to helping others thrive. I'm joined today by Nicolette Starks, and thank you so much for coming today on this beautiful day.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Could you tell me something about yourself and your journey? And I'm sure there are many chapters added to your book of life.
I am a Notre Dame grad, so 2004. Still, keeping in touch with Notre Dame, certainly, here and there. Lifelong friends. I'm still friends, some very close friends with some of the graduates as well. But yeah, like you said, a lot has happened since I graduated 21 years ago. So I very quickly found, after leaving Notre Dame, that life sometimes is just not exactly what you thought it would be and how you planned it would be. I found myself, 6 months after graduation, I found myself away at college in Dayton and pregnant. It was never something that I ever thought would be part of my story or in my plans, but here we are. And so that was definitely something that really flipped my world upside down. It really made me question who I was, what I wanted in this life, who I wanted to be, and what kind of impact I still wanted to make. So once I got over the shock, and the panic, which took a while, don't make any mistakes there. It was not quick. I kind of made the decision of like, okay, well, this is where we are. I can't change it, but I can do something with it. And so I made sure I stayed in school. I now have a gorgeous, amazing, thriving, inspiring, almost 20-year-old daughter. Her name is Ava. She's away at college currently at Cincinnati. She is she's a pre-law major, studying because she wants to be an advocate for women in the legal realm. So I'm extremely proud of her. So I actually went into education myself. So that was the path that I followed. And it was an interesting path, kind of a bumpy path, but you have to make these decisions early on of like, okay, what are going to be my priorities? What are my non-negotiables? What do I want to do with this? And one thing that I kind of promised myself early in the journey was that I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to do something important. I didn't want to just exist in this life. And I also wanted to make sure that my daughter never felt like she wasn't prioritized or loved or wanted, and that she never felt the heaviness of the stereotypes of being the child of a single mom. So I worked very hard to make sure that happened. Sometimes that meant working 2-3 jobs. I stayed in school full time. I went in the summers. I graduated in 4.5 years with my undergrad. I actually won Student Teacher of the Year when I graduated.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep, I did my student teaching at Central Catholic. I loved it there, and I then went into urban education. So I taught for several years high school English. I taught in Detroit, Michigan, right there on Rosa Parks and Michigan. There's a small little high school there. It was called Consortium, and taught there for a while, and actually ended up getting long-term my administrator's license. And so for the last 9 years out of the 16, I have been in leadership, and currently the assistant principal of Swanton High School, which is actually my first year out of urban ed over the last 16 years.
What an inspiring story.
That's the short version, but yes. Sure.
It's amazing how God takes us in this journey of our life.
Absolutely.
And congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a wonderful story of how you picked up from where you were to where you are now and helping other people also.
Yeah, it was a bumpy road, but I was very, very, very blessed to be connected to the right people in the right circumstances and sometimes the right lessons.
Well, today we want to talk about mentorship.
Yeah.
And how this mentorship was launched by Shine, Mom Mentors Program, recently. And we're happy that you have volunteered for this program, and how it also, mentorship has fit into your life. And what kind of encouragement do you try to give to others who may be where you were once, and how you picked up into where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'm very excited to be a part of Shine Mom Mentors. As soon as I learned about it, I honestly felt like this is a perfect fit. I actually felt very called to respond to it and to connect with it. I'm really excited to really get this off the ground and see kind of where God takes it, and God takes me with it, and God takes the program. But when it comes to mentorship with others, especially those who find themselves in difficult situations or situations that are similar to the ones that I found myself in, the biggest piece of advice that I give them is that they're capable, that there are resources, there are people, there are organizations that are there for this purpose, that it oftentimes run by other women, typically, that want to see you thrive, that it might feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and it might feel like this is impossible, and that your life is over. In fact, I remember saying over and over, my life is over, my life is over, at the time. But it's not. And it's just changed. That's all. And change can be scary, but they're capable and they can do it. And there are people who want to walk that journey with them, and see them thrive.
You were young when all of this happened to you. Was there a special person that came along in your life that made a significant difference or helped encourage you?
Yeah. Yes. So I always get a little emotional when I speak about this, so I will try certainly not to. But it was most definitely my grandmother. I told you I can't talk about it without being emotional. My grandmother on my mother's side, my father's side as well. I loved her dearly, but my grandmother on my mother's side, she was a teeny tiny little Lebanese lady, who couldn't care less about what anyone thought about her. And she was probably my loudest supporter and my loudest cheerleader. And to the point where if anyone, even in the family, uttered any comment of judgment or whatever, she publicly and immediately shut them down very, very quickly. She believed in me. She knew that I could do it. She made sure that I knew that she knew that I could do it. She told me all the time that I was special and that God had his hand on me. And it was very important to hear that, I think, at the time. But honestly, it's just hearing those words. And I think that that's so incredibly important. And that's why it mattered so much to me, not only because I loved her and respected her and, and wanted her in my corner, but I just needed to hear it. Like I believed it. I knew deep down that I was capable and that I was blessed and that I was going to do something with this, but I still needed to hear it. And I think that that is something that I carry with me, is that sometimes people just need to hear it, and just to remind them that, hey, someone else sees me too. Like, I know I can do this. I know I can do this, but someone else sees that I can do this. And sometimes that's all they really need. And that is something that I will forever carry with me, is her loud support of me.
Again, it was grandma. And a woman, helping another young woman, a young member of the family whom she loved. And I think it's so important for women to express that to each other. We are called to bring forth life in each other. And this is a perfect example of how grandma helped you, to encourage you, to give you that self-confidence that you needed at this time, so that you could just go ahead with your life.
Yes.
And you felt encouraged.
Very much so.
And I think God calls us many times people into our lives. And we ourselves, too, have to be open to that, to give that encouragement to each other.
Yes.
And we never know how much a word of encouragement will help another person.
Very much
So,
so.
we think mentorship is something we all need. I think we do, even as adults. What is the value of continuing to learn and grow with someone by your side? You volunteered
Yes.
to walk with someone, and you expressed how grandma was a person who walked with you.
Yes.
Now, you picked up her example, and you are going to do it for someone else.
I honestly, I've done a lot of mentoring, formal and informal, over the years. Oftentimes, young women, young teachers, students. Sometimes they'll seek me out, to be honest, because like I helped their friend, and they're like, "So, I heard you helped my friend. Can we talk about things too?" And so that becomes a mentoring, relationship as well. But I think that you'll find that a lot of times, even though it might seem like people want you to do things for them, they really want to do things for themselves. The only time they ever want you to do them for them is because they don't think that they can. They're afraid that they can't, and they're afraid that they're going to fail. But what they really need and what they really want is for someone to show them that they can, and they don't need you to do it for them. They can do it for themselves. But having someone next to them, just encouraging them, saying, "Hey, if you stumble, I'm going to catch you. I'm going to make sure that you keep walking. I'm not going to carry you, but I am going to catch you if you stumble. So don't be afraid to stumble. You're going to stumble. Let's just plan on it. Plan on stumbling, but I'm going to catch you when you do that." And so it's really just giving someone that encouragement of you can, you are capable, you have the strength, you have the intelligence, you have the support. And when you feel like you don't, that's when I'm there for you. That's when I'm going to give you that encouragement or help you find that resources or just sit there with you in those hard times where you just need to sit in it. And sometimes it's easier to sit in it when there's someone to sit with you.
I think that's very beautiful for you to accept. It is a challenge sometimes to walk with someone because you have to learn to walk in those same shoes as that person.
Yeah.
And to build encouragement, self-confidence in that person, and a belief in that person that that individual will continue to become what she has been called to be.
Yeah.
And that takes time. And that's, again, where community comes in.
Yes.
We all have relationships with each other. And many times we have to recognize, do I have a responsibility to help someone?
Yeah.
Someone. And you, being where you are in education as an administrator, you come into contact with many young people. And many young people make mistakes.
Yes, they do.
And they need help to overcome that mistake.
Yeah.
And to build up
Exactly.
a belief in themselves that they can be who they are called to be, to use those gifts.
Yes.
So that mentorship pulls out the gifts that are in a person, and that those gifts become a reality and very obvious in that person.
Yes.
You are in education. You have made that a profession. What have you learned through this profession with your background
Yes.
and where you are?
Well, I will tell you one thing that I have learned. So growing up in the suburbs, grew up in Sylvania, Ohio. I went to St. Joseph's in Sylvania, Notre Dame Academy, Wright State for, a year and then transferred back. I ended up going to Lourdes, got my master's degree at Lourdes, and then went and spent 16 years in inner city schools. The biggest takeaway that I took from that 16-year journey is that people are people and kids are kids. And they oftentimes have the exact same struggles, no matter where you work, no matter where you live, no matter where your community is, no matter how you grew up. We are all built the same. And yes, they might look a little different in this community and might look a little different being raised by this family as opposed to this family, or this religion as opposed to this religion, or this culture as opposed to this culture, but the same needs, the same beauty, the same mistakes that kids make, the same, it's all the same. Kids are kids. I've had people say like, oh, I'd be so intimidated working in inner city Detroit schools as opposed to Sylvania schools. They're the same kids. They're the same. They need the same things. They just want to be seen. They just want to be heard. They just want to be important. They sometimes need to learn their lessons, and sometimes they need to sit in the consequences of their lessons because that's how they're going to learn. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they just need a little extra empathy or just another chance, or someone to say, hey, you know what? Like, I don't think any less of you because you did that. I don't like the choice you made, but it was a choice that a lot of kids make, and that's okay. And we're going to learn from it, And so that is one thing that I have found. And then again, transitioning now to rural schools, again, exact same. And also recognizing that, working in a high school where there is a decently high amount of poverty as well, that poverty is poverty. Sometimes it looks a little different in urban schools than it does in rural schools, but the effects of poverty are the same on the human body, on the human community, on the human psychological development. And so making sure that you learn your community, learn your demographics, understand the way that the brain works and how children develop, you can work anywhere. You can work with any demographic. If you have that empathy, you have the discipline, and you have the understanding of the psychological and physiological development of children, not children in this community or this community or this community, children, because they are all the same.
Well, it seems that you continue to be a mentor every day in the school.
Whether I want to or not, right?
And you share much love with them and your experiences. And what a gift that is to the school.
Thank you for saying that.
And thank you for being that gift and sharing what you have learned through your life experiences. And now you are giving that back to so many others so that they can continue to grow into that self-confidence, that they can do things that they probably never imagined later on in life that they are capable of doing. But there were people in your life that helped you walk that path, that journey. So many blessings to you as you continue to do that. And I'm amazed at your professional background into so many different areas and different places that you have been, so that you can share your gifts, your experiences, and to continue to build up our young people. This is what they need. They need to see adults that, I've gone through difficult things, and look where I am.
It's possible.
Yes, it is
you
possible.
Can do it. Yeah.
You can do it with our help, and never give up.
That's right. There's always a way. There's always a way.
And so, thank you so much for spending your time with us, your wisdom, and your journey in life.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
And may you continue to be the mentor to many of our moms that will come to our program and who will get what they need at this time to be the best mothers that they can be to their children. So thank you again for joining C.H.A.T and showing us what we can do for each other, and always be open to sharing what we have learned through our life experiences, sharing that with others. Most of all, sharing our love with each other and saying to everyone, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
And we are
Thank you.
here to help you.
Absolutely.
So thank you again.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Nikki,
Thank
it's
you.
good to see you
It's so
from
good to
the
see
high
you.
school days.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of what you are doing. And thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah.